Welcome back to the end game, y'all. Welcome back. So what has my coach been up to? I understand that he's promoting this epic journey, this 4 month journey. Now he admits it's been 3 months. He's been working on that siding for 3 months. Considering that he's not done, or I guess he's just done in real time, he's just done doing the caulking. If he does paint it, he claims he's going to paint it, I guess, next week in real time, I guess. Okay, then that would amount to about a 4 month journey. Okay, he says it's been amazing. Although for the rest of us, it's been a yawn fest, yes? You guys remember those miserable P2P nodcasts? Yes? Remember those nodcasts when you guys could barely stay awake? Yes? Okay, now he's talking about this exciting, this amazing journey of him ripping down tin siding and then putting up shed siding on his house. Is that right? I understand in the most recent video he talked about how when Megan saw the exterior light on the back door, Megan said, we need to have a porch. And I'm like, okay, all right, Tim, there you go. There you go, blaming it, putting it on Megan. And so now you're going to claim that the reason why you're postponing putting that elongated porch on the front of the mobile home is because Megan, she's put a priority on having a porch on the back side of the house. Really, are you really going to blame that on Megan? Okay, bear in mind that people generally have lights. They generally have lanterns, various exterior lights attached. Anytime they have a door somewhere, back door, front door, side door, yes? But just because you have a light or a lantern up there does not mean that you need a porch. So don't blame it on Megan. Okay, now that would be backwards logic. Okay, if you have a porch on the backside, it would have to serve some type of function. Yes, now considering that porch will be looking out on your neighbor's property, your wooded neighbor's property, I'm not sure what purpose that porch would serve, but of course, put it on Megan. Yes, let's get distracted with yet another project. Okay, I thought that there was a certain priority to your project. I thought that you were supposed to finish off painting painting Emma's shed siding. I thought you were going to do that first, yes? Then I thought that you were going to put some type of skirting on the bottom of the mobile home. Yes, I know you got distracted, and at one point you were saying, well, they're going to do the driveway. We're going to have the driveway done. We're going to get it estimated now. We may do it sometime in the near future, or we may do it never. Yes. And then I understand that recently you're talking about clearing out the land to make way for a new barn, a new equipment shed / barn that's going to be bigger, larger than your actual house. Okay. All right. And then, of course, you talked about starting up this new wood chip business. Yes. Whatever happened to the Happy Camper, the Resurrection Campers business, the LLC? Whatever happened to that? We don't hear much about that anymore. Okay. You supposedly had this entrepreneur emotion, but yet we don't hear about your efforts coming to any type of fruition. Yes, you just run around chasing your tail. Is that right? Is that right? Well, all right. So what else has he been up to? Okay. And so I understand that in the most recent trailer, where Tim was talking about we bought 5 acres of land, and then we lived in a barn. We lived in a barn for 9 months. Okay. I understand that he started out the trailer with little Benjamin walking down toward the amazing poultry pen, the neglected poultry pen. Yes, instead of calling it the APP, you need to start calling it the NPP. Yes. And Tim claims, oh, well, some of these birds, they need to go to freezer camp. That's because they've gone neglected. Yes. Okay. You've been focusing on other things. In the meantime, the boys are busy with their normal farm chores. Yes. But we understand that early in this trailer, Megan was walking Benjamin down to the poultry pen and claiming that Benjamin felt left out. He felt left out of farm chores. The boy can barely talk. Does he talk at all? Crying or whining, that doesn't count as talking? How old is he? Is he like a year and 4 months by now? How old is he? Should he be talking in some fashion? Is there some type of delay? Or is there some type of issue considering the fact that Megan spends the majority of her time? Her time is prioritized on supporting the farm chores for the other boys. And it's her time is prioritized on trying to struggle during the homeschool. And so maybe for one reason or another, which are obvious reasons, Megan is unable to attend to working with little Benjamin as far as his ability to actually articulate or talk in any form or fashion. But Tim claims that little Benjamin felt left out of the farm chores. He's been watching these boys being slaved. Yes, being slaved over, slaved upon. Okay, working around doing their child labor around that farm, and little Benjamin supposedly felt left out. Is that right? Is that right? And then Tim does what he normally does. He tries to speak for little Benjamin and say, "Oh, little Benjamin say he's got a stick." We know little Benjamin didn't say any of that. He says he's got a stick, and he's got a stick for the rooster. And next time the rooster runs up on Mama, I got him. Of course, little Benjamin's just like, okay, what's going on here? We're walking? Okay, yes, I love to walk. I do appreciate that you're giving me a little bit of attention. Okay, but not for the sake of the YouTube, Dad. Calm down with all that YouTube attention. It's not real, Dad. It's not real. Just like this farm, it's not real. Yeah, just like some people think, some of the readiest of Tim riders believe that there actually is an IAG farm. Okay, they don't realize that they don't accept the fact that there's only an IAG farm channel. Yes, okay, but good gracious. Now, also early in the video, we hear or we see little Noah singing. We're singing, and if you're like me, you listening to him, you start tapping your foot a little bit, and until of course you realize that you couldn't understand a word that he was saying. Yes. Okay, and so I couldn't help but wonder, well, is this one of those hymns? Is this a hymn? Is this a spiritual hymn that the boy is singing? Or is this simply one of Tim's prison songs? Yes. Yes, from Tim's song of prison, from Tim's book, his infamous book of prison songs, prison lyrics, prison hooks. Yes. Okay. Is this one of the hooks that they worked on, that they had those folks chanting when they're down in Jackson? Is this one of those chants? Yes. When Tim said, we're not going to go with traditional hymns. Yes. No. We're not going to go with traditional spirituality. No. We're not one for Christianity. Yes. Okay. We're going to go with the songs that I made up in prison. And if you guys are going to follow me, you guys have to be prison-like. You have to have a prison-like mindset. Yes. Where I'm the warden and you guys just follow suit. Yes. But good gracious. Now, I understand early in the video, we also got a glimpse of the John Deere twins. Yes, and when I talk about the John Deere twins, it looked like it was Tim Jr. and looked like it was Titus. Yes, and anytime we see those boys dressed up as twins, we know that those are items, those are clothing, or that's clothing that has been donated from some of the heaviest of Tim followers. Yes, from some of the steadiest of Tim supporters. Anytime we see them dressed up as twins. Yes. And so we notice that the boys have on their John Deere hoodies. Yes. Proudly displaying them. Yes. And of course the boys, they've been living off donations all their life. They don't know any other way. Yes. Okay. They don't know. They're not accustomed to their dad actually using some of his money, some of his earnings, aside from donations, and actually using some of his own earnings in order to put clothing on the boys' backs. Yes. But now, somewhere along the way, somebody slipped up. Okay. Now, bear in mind that Tim is a bad boy supporter. Yes. When we talk about the bad boy tractor, when we talk about the bad boy zero turn, we talk about the bad boy hats and t-shirts, etc., etc. Yes. They're on the bad boy team. Did somebody forget that John Deere is in direct competition with Bad Boy? It's not good for the brand. Yes. What would your sponsor say? What would they say if they caught a load? If they got a load of this video, what would they say? You claim that people are watching this video all over the country, all over the world. Yes. What if your Bad Boy sponsors actually, for one reason or another, tuned into this video and they saw your boys out there proudly displaying this John Deere or these John Deere hoodies? What would they say to him? Clearly somebody dropped the ball with regard to that. Yes. Now, also early in the video, Tim talks about the boys doing their farm chores. And he talks about, well, they change up roles. They do change up roles. And I'm like, okay, Tim, I thought the boys did the farm chores on their own. I thought they were doing them independently. I know you received some flack from the reaction channels, yes, as far as those boys actually running a farm, okay, at their tender ages, yes. But you claim they were independently working on their farm chores daily on a daily basis, okay, with some supervision from Megan, yes, under the radar, yes, some quiet behind the scenes supervision from Megan, yes. But now you're claiming that we change up the roles for the boys. Now we know you changed up who is going to be the leader. But this time you share with us the fact that, okay, we change up roles and you can always tell who's the laborer. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I thought that they were all laborers. What do you mean that we can tell which one is the laborer for that day? Okay, and what is this? Is this some house Negro, field Negro type of psychology? What type of conditioning, what type of programming is going on here? Yes? Okay, you're going to be the field Negro for today. These will be the house Negroes for today. Yes? What do we teach? What do we teach those boys? Good gracious. Okay, but he's saying, well, we can tell. We know who's doing the labor, who's the laborer for the day. Yes? Now, also early in the video, Tim talks about, he walks down to the sheep pen and he talks about the sheep. And he talks about how, for the most part, the sheep are maintenance free. And thank goodness that they are maintenance free. Yes, because we know that other than the boys putting some hay and some feed over the edges, other than that, we know they're not being maintained at all by human beings. Yes. So Tim talks about the fact he tries to distract the viewers by talking about the hair and the fact that, it's different types of sheep. And for some of the sheep, the hair grows long and some of it stays short. And, for our sheep, fortunately, the hair falls out on its own. Yes. And then he claims we haven't had to maintain their hooves at all. Yes. Okay. And all we know all that means is that Tim has been ignoring it. Yes. The boys don't know how to maintain it. Yes. It's probably not a task that Megan can safely address herself. And yes, so as a result, Tim, with his distraction, with his focus on this YouTube lifestyle, this YouTube way of living, of course, Tim, he doesn't have any time to tend to any hooves, yes? But now he talks about the fact that, okay, well, even with the water bins, so they have water bins, yes? And Tim tells us, well, we can just give them hay and then they can go ahead and they can splurge on these pastures. And of course, when we look out and we see pastures, we're like, okay, where are the pastures? All we see is dirt, hay, and dirt. Where are these pastures? It's just like the other day when Tim talked about the guys dropping off the wood chips. And he's talking, we got these amazing pastures up here at the top of the property. And all we see is dirt. They're not pastures. It's called dirt, Tim. Yes? But good gracious. But now, Tim, I think it was little Titus that brought up the fact that, we haven't had to change the water out regularly, or maybe he admitted that we don't change the water out regularly. And then, of course, us as viewers, we look and we say like, okay, good gracious. Is that water yellow? Is that water green? Is the water brown? Okay, we know that sheep, they climb up into the feeding troughs, yes? Are some of them climbing up into the water buckets and dropping their little poop pellets up in there, yes? Or it's just the squirrels wallowing in the birds wallowing and pooping in, yes? But good gracious. And so Tim, he says, well, now, the reason why we're neglecting the hydration of our sheep, yes, with them forcing them to drink this contaminated water, or for them to go unhydrated, okay, dehydrated, I should say, is because the pails are too heavy to dump over. And he's talking about, well, those are like 30-gallon pails. And I'm like, well, now, if you had a man of the house, okay, or in your case, a man of the farm, yes, if you had a man of the farm, you wouldn't have to worry about how heavy the pails were for those little boys to try to tip them over, yes? Oh, by the way, there's other ways to drain a pail, yes? And so he claims the reason why that water is dingy, why the water is corroded, why the water is probably infested or infected at this point, is because we wait for the water to run low. So it's light enough so that the boys can tip it over. And I'm like, good gracious, Tim, good gracious. But what else did he talk about? So now he talked about how Ernest and how Ernest is going to be their pretty barn. And now we know that simply means that Megan Megan has cleaned out Ernest yet again. She's cleaned out Ernest yet again. Okay, and we see that. We see that it's been cleaned out to some extent. But he says, well, this is going to be our pretty barn. And of course, by that he means that the barn that he's trying to build up there behind the pond will be the tool barn, the tool shed, the messy one, yes? Where we'll store items and whatnot, yes? And so, of course, we know that Tim uses as a reason, as a rationale for him building that new barn whenever it comes. I don't know, a couple years from now, a year from now. He said, well, Megan, if we use that, if we build another barn, Megan, then this barn down here that we call Ernest, which is really just a shed or a shack, if you want to get technical about it. Okay, this one can be our chill spot, right? Remember we talked about it being a chill spot about 6-7 months ago? Well, this one can be our chill spot again, Megan. If I just get a better barn, a larger barn up there at the top of the property, Megan, yes? So, of course, we understand what he's saying with that, yes? And so now I understand that shortly after that, Tim took a walk down memory lane, and he forced the boys to go down memory lane with him. And of course, they were talking about living in the camper, what they now call happy camper. And he talks about how it was backed up to the barn, which is really a shed, how it's backed with the shed. And he talked about how the heat would flow this way or that way and what have you. And I guess he had little Titus, I think it was little Titus that chimed in and said, well, back then we ate farm fresh food. Yes, that's all we ate was farm fresh food. Now, bear in mind, that was about 3 or 4 years ago. So in 3 or 4 years, with them supposedly establishing more and more abundance, you would think they would be in an even better position now to subsist off of farm fresh food. Why is it now that they're subsisting off of the local grocery store, the local Kroger? Yes? Why is that? Okay, you guys were farm fresh back then when you were struggling. Now that you guys are winning, wouldn't you be in more of a position to be farm fresh? Yes, but they walk us down the memory lane. Yes. And now, what else? What else did he talk about during this video? Yes. So he talked about how he's been pouring everything into working on this shed siding for his mobile home. Yes, pouring everything, putting everything that he has into that. Yes. Minus the brakes, the mini brakes, okay, which of course includes his trip or their trip to Disney World, yes. Minus the back pain, brakes for back pain, yes. Minus the brakes for getting quotes for the driveway, yes. Minus the brakes for working on the barn or clearing out the land for the barn, yes. Minus all that, he's been putting everything he has into it, yes. Minus the brakes for the mulch, having the mulch delivered, yes. That little happy camper nonsense. Minus all those breaks, he's been putting everything he has into this, what he calls this long and amazing journey. And I'm like, oh my goodness, coach. And now I know at some point he wraps up the video and he's talking about life putting hard things in your way. Now, that's a little bit surprising coming from an ex-pastor for him to talk about life putting hard things in your way. Yes. Some people would claim that it's us as individuals, because we have free will. We put difficult situations, or we choose to encounter difficult situations. Yes. Some people would claim that, God puts certain challenges in front of you. Some people say, the devil puts hard or difficult situations in front of you. Yes, the devil did it. Yes, so some people claim all that, but here Tim is as an ex-pastor. He claims that life puts hard things in front of you. What do you mean life? Is life a character? Is that an entity? What is life? Yes, and Tim talks about life will put hard things in front of you, so it's better off for you to choose your own hard things. Now this is coming from a person that hasn't chosen anything hard, anything difficult for his whole life. Remember, he was working hard with his dad when he first got out of prison. He quit that job swiftly, as quickly as he could. He was up out of there. He quit that job with the quickness, yes? Okay, but he talks about, you can choose your own hard things to address. Tim talks about, you can choose to exercise, or you can choose to put healthy things into your body. And I'm like, okay, hold on, Tim. This is not a P2P nodcast, yes? Where you're talking about things you weren't practicing. Okay, you weren't practicing what you were supposedly preaching. Okay, yes. And so you talk about people deciding or making a determination to exercise. Tim, you're 5'6", you're 240 pounds. Tim, is that a person that exercises? A person that chooses to exercise? Now, exercising would be a difficult challenge. Yes, you've chosen to ignore it. You talk about being mindful of things that you put into your body. Tim, 5'6", 240. Tim. Okay, it's clear that you have not been putting farm fresh food into your body, yes? Even a person that was not watching the videos, even if a person that just fell into the ideology of there being some supposed IAG farm, okay, they could just look at you and tell that you have not consumed much of any farm fresh goodness, yes? But good gracious, Tim, good gracious, I can't take no more. That's it. That's it for my reaction to that most recent, or those most recent videos. One where I guess Tim was talking about living in the barn for 9 months. Yes. And we've already heard the story several times. Yes. I mean, I guess the other one, Tim is talking about Megan wanting a porch because she got a light. She wants a porch. The backwards logic of IAG. Yes. Remember, because their shed had siding, they wanted their house to have siding. Because their shed had a certain gray color, a certain gray paint on it, they wanted their house to have that gray paint on it. Because their shed had a certain roof, they wanted their house to have a certain, they wanted their poultry pen to have the roof first. And then finally the house. Well, it's backwards logic, yes? And so now because you have an exterior light, you need a porch. That's it. Please like and subscribe. I want to shoot out some love to my current subscribers. Thank you for showing me that love. I do appreciate it. For those viewers that have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing so that we can continue to shine that light. Until next time.